Hey everybody, it's good to see you. I hope you're keeping safe during this crisis. I'm glad you tuned in. We're going to be talking about two projects that you have to do on environmental science. You have one on environmental science part 1, and you have another one on environmental science 2. And a lot of people get confused on how to do these assignments. They're not really hard, so we're going to go over those today. First of all, I want to tell you some things that you need to know about the environment, and you need to know these things so that you can do the projects. And it's just good to know about what we're doing to the environment. First of all, for people all over the world, the natural environment is their source of food, water, oxygen, and shelter. However, people are pushing the limits of what the environment can provide. Did you know that just making a car has terrible impacts on the environment? I mean, this is crazy. It takes almost 700,000 gallons of water for the parts and tires, and it causes 682 pounds of pollution just for the lead battery. It also causes 2,000 pounds of discharge into the water supply. So, I mean, that is really crazy. Cell phones are one example of a product that requires a lot of resource consumption. Did you know that they mine for a product called coltan? It's spelled coltan, and that's what they use for cell phones, part of what they use for cell phones. And what's happening is that they're mining for this, and it's so popular and it's so money making because it's so much in demand that they clear the land, and that means there's not enough food for the gorilla population there. It's believed that the impact of overconsumption will only get worse. This is partly because the population is growing rapidly, and partly because consumption rates are developing faster. Everywhere, people are buying more televisions, refrigerators, and washing machines, and all these other products that make life easier. And I agree that we do need these things, but just like the cars being bought, that means more pollution in the air because of the exhaust. Suppose everyone consumed as many resources as the population in North America does. If that were the case, experts believe that it would take the resources of 5 Earths. Fortunately, efforts are being made around the world to reduce the negative effects of human consumption. People are beginning to recycle more paper, plastic, and glass to be used in creating new products. People are buying non-toxic cleaners that do not pollute the environment. Other people are buying fish that have been caught using alternative methods that do not damage the ocean habitats. Manufacturers are doing their part by using less resources. Many paper companies are offering products that are made from recycled paper, and many furniture makers now use wood that has been sustainably harvested. This means that the trees have been harvested using techniques that don't harm the forests. One way this is done is by cutting trees in such a way that they do not harm other trees as they fall. The impact of consumption is also being reduced by the new methods of designing products and buildings, and some clothing companies have got in on this. For example, some places let you turn in an old pair of jeans and get a new pair of jeans, and then they recycle those old pair. Some people are even coming up with cloth that is edible, and it has no bad chemicals in it. So you could actually eat your shirt or something. Now, the name of the assignment that you're going to have is reducing consumption. And consumption just means using resources and creating waste. That's all consumption means. But did you know that We've used more resources in the past 50 years than humans have been in existence. That's in the past 50 years. It's estimated that humans used 5 times as much plastic, 3 times as much water, 4 times as much fossil fuel, and 6 times as much paper as we used to use. Okay, so let's go to the reducing consumption project. The first thing that you're going to do is go to that assignment, of course, and it's going to say reducing consumption. And what consumption means is just the resources that we use and those that we don't use, and protecting the land. That's what reducing consumption means. So we need to do some things like that, and you can use those hints in your project. But the first thing it's going to ask you to do is to brainstorm as many things as you can about how the company can reduce the materials used, energy used, and waste produced. So think about those things that would cause, like electricity bill, recycling. What things could you do to help that company? After you've come up with 5 things, and make sure it's 5 things or I'll have to return the paper. Secondly, you're going to pick 3 ideas of those, and you're going to write a paragraph. Now, it's a short paragraph. It's only 5 sentences. Please only make it 5 sentences. Any more than that, guess what? Your paper comes back to you. This is easy, 5 sentences. And so you might want to start out with something like, I've found 3 ways to help our company's ecological footprint. The first thing is blah, blah, blah. The second thing is whatever. The third thing is things we could do. And then your last paragraph probably needs to be, by doing this, we could cut down on so-and-so. And name the things that would help the environment by reducing. The next assignment that you'll have is the State Global Warming Project. And in case you're not sure what global warming is, I'm sure you've probably heard a lot of talk about it, but it just is a term used to describe the rising of the average temperature on Earth. And it has to do with the overall climate, not just what the temperature is like on a particular day. So here are a few of the things that scientists think may happen as the temperature rises. They think that glaciers will melt, ocean levels are going to rise, migration of animals will go to cooler spots, and their old habitats will die. It's going to cause extreme weather and change in the ecosystems. Now, what can we do about it? We can't do much about the Earth's natural fluctuations, but we can impact the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted into the air, like from cars and from factories. And many of our everyday activities cause more carbon dioxide to be released into the atmosphere, including driving cars and using electricity. So you can help by cutting down on the amount of electricity you use, as well as how much driving you do. Things like carpooling and planting trees can help. So let's go on to the assignment. Now, just like the other assignment, you're going to pull up the template. This one says, you have learned the effects that global warming could have on people around the world, but what is at stake for your own state? Now, here's the catch. They don't have Alabama listed, and they may not have the state that you're from listed, but you need to go to one of those states that is on that page and write about that particular state. You only have to pick one. I'm not going to read you all of the questions. I'm just going to hit the high points and the things that most people miss on these questions. And so, number 1, it says, what are some of the impacts that global warming would have on wildlife in your state? That's like birds, deer, fish, things like that. Your wildlife look like animals. So you have to give 2 examples. Now, in your state, information that you're going to pull up on this assignment is going to tell you exactly what the effects are on the wildlife. So all you have to do is read this or scan over it to find these answers. The second one, and this is a tricky one that most people miss, says what is at stake for the health of the economy for people in your state. In other words, what impact would global warming have on jobs and money in your state? You got to give at least 2 examples again. But let me caution you, a lot of people get confused when it said what is at stake for the health of the economy. Now, that doesn't mean your personal health, like being sick and how pollution affects you, anything like that. It's how it will affect the economy, like jobs. Will people lose jobs because of this? Or they may gain jobs. Now, number 4 states, were you surprised to learn about the programs your state is using? Did you think there should be more programs, fewer programs, and why? You've got to put the why on there. And again, we're not referring to Alabama or whatever state you're from unless you are from one of those states that is mentioned. I think there are 4 of them in your assignment. So just remember that this is your own opinion, but you have to put why you feel this way. And then number 5 is another opinion question. It says, which of the programs in your state are the best choices for reducing global warming? And again, it has why. So you have to give an explanation of that, or it counts off a lot of points on this. Okay, so I hope you've learned something about the environment and what is at stake. As you can see, we need to make some changes in the world, and you can personally make some changes. So just think about all those things that we mentioned and try some of those. You may want to recycle or find you some clothes that you can eat. I don't know what you might want to do, but just take some of those things that were mentioned in this lesson and try to do those things to help the environment, because it's really important, or we're going to run out of resources pretty soon. We won't have anything. So just think about those things again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there's any videos or projects that you would like for me to go over, if you have a paper that you want to submit to me, email it to me. If you have a question that you just absolutely cannot find, you can email me and I'll help you locate that answer. Again, just please email me with any questions that you have, and I'll be glad to help you. That's what I'm here for. Thanks for watching.